call it like it is. We're f***ing sick of all these different miner models. Why would you buy a crypto mining rig when there's probably going to be a better one next week? Or actually, no, maybe there's not going to be a better one, but there's going to be a better price. I am losing on my miner buys just based on their price drops versus the actual mining profitability I am realizing. We are mining in unprecedented times where major companies, millionaire, billionaire boys, the publicly traded squad expand at an exponential, unprecedented rate. How do you remain relevant, viable, profitable on a smaller scale as a crypto miner? To be honest, it's something I'm actively working through and trying to figure out. What's up? I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Today, I'm breaking down miner fatigue, and this isn't just me bitching about, whatever. We're gonna look at the data and try to come out of this with what makes sense when, or is this a time to actually abstain from getting in the mining game? The people that don't take the time to do the research, the people that don't, down back, subscribe to the VoskCoin YouTube channel are likely to lose because this stuff is overwhelming. I do this all day, every day, and I still feel like I struggle to keep up. So let's dig into it. We look at the top miners, the most profitable miners. We see profits up still towards $70 a day after paying a 10 cent per kilowatt hour electricity bill. That's a good residential rate for reference. We look at the revenue, everywhere from $28 here on the front page to $76. There is very many profitable mining rigs right now. A lot of them are related to the Kaspa cryptocurrency. But we scroll down a little bit further, we see Litecoin, which is really Dogecoin. We see Ethereum Classic. We see Bitcoin with the insanely powerful, dense, the Antminer S21 XP Hydro, 473 terahash, 5,700 watts of electricity, a whopping efficiency of 12 watts per terahash. That is nearly 3 times more efficient than the S19, the worst of the S19 series, easily 2 times. And we still have the relevant Antminer L7, mines Dogecoin, the DG1, which came out to be the top dog in, see what I did there? Doge mining, but then quickly faded to irrelevancy as Antminer Bitmain was like, hey, we got an even better model, so fuck them. We thought the Jazz Miner X16P was going to be great at Ethereum Classic mining for a long time, and then Bombax showed up few months later and said, nah, dog, this is our round. Well, all right then. We look at the daily emission. I mean, Bitcoin's still putting out about $30 million in emission per day. All right, that means it's going to the miners. Dogecoin, 1.7 million. Litecoin tacks on another $250,000 to that. So basically it's $2 million. Kaspa still putting out over $1.25 million per day. Generally speaking, the market's been trending downwards. Kind of sucks. Look at just the last 7-day change. We have anywhere from minus 5% all the way down to minus 20% on Nervos network, which I dropped 40 grand expanding my Nervos mining footprint earlier this year. That went great till it didn't. And here's what really starts to mess you up as a miner. It's still, even though the prices are going down, a lot of these coins continue to be more and more difficult to mine, right? Kaspa was up 3.5%. Mining difficulty. Chia is up 8%. Nervos is up 4%. You understand that you are mining less and the coin is worth less? It's not fun. It is frustrating.
Tired of keeping up with miner models and insane electric costs? What if you could invest in the Bitcoin mining industry without all the hassle? Check out today's video sponsor, Quantum Expeditions. Quantum offers a way for users to invest in the Bitcoin mining farm industry. They're bringing cutting-edge technology and renewable energy to the space. They've raised over $1 million so far and are continuing to grow and be profitable after the halving. We're investors in Quantum and are excited to see where they take things. To learn more, check out the link in the video description below. Please do your own research.
Several months ago, I dropped $5-6 grand on the DG1. It came out of nowhere. I was like, I'm gonna buy that because I'm a crazy guy and I love trying new miners, reviewing them here on the channel. Okay, so I bought this thing, and then I feel like I turn around and AlphaPex was like, yo, we got a DG1 Plus now. And I'm like, what? I'd rather have this. It's got more density. It uses a little bit more electricity, but the hash rate is absolutely higher. And then, like I already mentioned, Bitmain turned around and said, hey, f you guys, I got a better one. It's called the L9. And their miner model does 16 or 17.2 gigahash a second. So it is not only more powerful, but it's much more efficient, consuming reportedly only 3,360 watts. You compare that to the DG1 Plus, consuming nearly 4,000 watts of electricity, something a 20 amp circuit can barely handle, right? These are all profitable, powerful machines. Remember, the L9 16 gigahash will pool over $20 a day in profits if you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour for your electricity rate. DG1, even though it is not as good as the L9, still 16 bucks a day. I will say I'm super frustrated with these DG miners because I dunk them and they do not work in immersion fluid. Doesn't matter with fan spoofers, you ask support, they're totally clueless to it. I saw a post that they had just given a miner to fog hashing to test the immersion. So it really sucks to be a guinea pig out here, just, doing my own thing, leading to more work, the cleaning of these miners. But you probably don't really want to talk about Dogecoin mining as much as you want to talk about, I don't know, maybe Kaspa mining. They have dropped the price on this KS0 Ultra so low, $239 for 400 gigahash a second at only 100 watts. This is a very small, very cheap miner. It's intriguing, truly. Let me show you some daily mining profitability on some different miners. Switch this over to USD. We look at the KS0 Pro. These numbers right now are actually kind of atrocious. Let's look at that again. 37 cents for the KS0 Pro, 18 cents for the KS0, and that one's overclocked. This KS0 Pro is reportedly earning about 55 cents a day. That one is not overclocked. And to put that into perspective, those are half as powerful as these. So they would be making around $1 a day as everything sits right now. And so it's a very low price point. This is a fun thing to do. It's a good entry level. It's a hobby style miner, but that's a very long break even period. I mean, we're talking, easily 200 plus days if nothing else changed. All right, Ice River cut the prices on these like crazy. Just within the last month and a half, I spent the equivalent of basically 10 grand to acquire an Ice River KS50 when they initially came out. You can order one today for literally half the price. Let me just tell you a little bit of a spoiler. I sure as hell did not mind 5 grand since I got that, and you can order this, let alone accounting for the electricity bill. So you would have been better off waiting to buy this now as opposed to then if that's what you really wanted. They also dropped the price on the KS5M. So for $7,500, and right, this is a la carte from their site. We do have a coupon code and a link to support the channel, code VoskCoin, to save yourself some coin with them. That reduces this actually significantly further, but the point here being is like you've never been able to get 15 terahash a second on Kaspa for this cheap. Also, shameless plug and disclosure, we're an affiliate with Coin Mining Central. They support the channel. We have a coupon code with them as well, code VoskCoin, to save some coin. We also have some miner specific codes that actually can take off even more. I'll drop those down below in the video description. But the point here being is you can go and buy these from wherever you want, but with our code, it should be the best price on the market, if not comparable. Take from that whatever you will. The resellers are getting better prices on miners than you're normally able to buy direct from the manufacturers currently. But here's the deal, bringing it back to miner fatigue. This miner was, selling for over 10 grand all day just a few months ago. Now you get the same thing for $5,000. Okay, this miner mines about 260 coins a day right now. How much USD is that, right? And it's not all about the dirty dollars. But the miners are priced in dollars. You're probably buying them with dollars. So when we look at our mining profitability, it brings us back to dollars a lot. So that's $38 nearly a day. It's cost me about $8 to run personally. So that thing's pulling 30 bucks a day. Earning $30 a day by just plugging something in is freaking incredible. Let's not, forget that. $30 over the next year a day after we account for the electricity bill, right? We would put 11 grand in our pocket. That's a lot of money. Will it stay that way? Well, let me show you something that's a bit of a spoiler. Over time, it's becoming more and more difficult to mine Kaspa. Every month, it's harder to mine the coin. There's more mining hash rate. There's more, basically, people trying to eat that same pie. Also, when it comes to Kaspa, every month, there's less coins mined. So if nothing changed, then next month you'll mine less, and so on. And it basically halves annually. The KS6 publicly hasn't really dropped price, but if you order several of these, you can get these priced around like $6,000, $5,000 or so right now. Once again, I basically traded the equivalent of like nearly 10 grand for these things. And just, this one is just a couple weeks later, it's trading for half the price. And really, the main driver for all of these price reductions on Kaspa miners is apparently Bitmain is turning up the heat and making a absolute massive batch of the KS Pro 21 terahash second and dropping the price significantly, moving these in August, right, for around 12 grand. These have previously carried a big price premium of like 25 grand. So to be able to get the same miner for less than half the price in just a couple months, one, let me tell you, someone who's actively mining with all these miners, I think it's going to be a better move to get the cheaper miner than to get it now. Sure, it's super profitable, right? We look at that daily mining profitability. I mean, it's nearly $70 a day. So let's just take $70, right? And we have it for, you won't even have it this long, but let's say 60 days. You'd mine $4,200. You know what $4,200 is not? I don't know. It's not $13,000. There's a $9,000 price difference that you would just basically have back in your pocket if you ordered the future batch. You think Kaspa is gonna pump so freaking hard that you're gonna make up 9 grand? I don't fucking think so, dude. I'm still shocked about the Ethereum Classic debacle, right? The X16P came out. Jazz Miner's been leading the way in Ethereum Classic mining for literally years now. 5,800 mega hash a second. It consumes 1,900 watts. That's not that much power consumption for a miner, especially of this size. 3 freaking fans. There are no fans on the back. But it's a big miner that has a surprisingly low power consumption, and it's very efficient. It was the best miner for Ethereum Classic for a little while. And then Bombach showed up with a really cool miner that had etched details on the side, and I was smitten. And then you look at the specs on this thing. 12,500 mega hash a second for only 2,300 watts. You understand that it's basically twice as powerful and nearly the same power consumption. This thing blew the next best miner that recently came out absolutely out of the water. They have a better one coming soon, an EZ100 Plus, I think they're calling it. That's going to be mining around 15 to 16,000 mega hash a second, right? And consuming less than 3,000 watts of electricity. Absolute density, powerhouse, and a wild price tag, okay? These things consistently trade over 15 grand, but they are profitable and they are best in class and they are dense. These miners, for reference, right, are a top profitability miner, mining about 22 bucks a day, only costing $5.50 to run on a 10 cent per kilowatt hour electricity rate, putting about 17 bucks in your pocket. Ethereum Classic is one of the most profitable coins to mine when you look at the daily emission. It puts out over $300,000 per day, basically every day. And we've been really focused on altcoin mining, so don't even get me freaking started on Bitcoin mining, right? They just announced the S21 XP Hydro miners. These things are wildly powerful and dense, right? The S21 XP coming in at 270 terahash a second. It was only a couple years ago we barely got to 100 terahash a second for about the same power consumption. And that's just the latest announcement. The newest, most powerful Bitcoin miner that's actually coming out, that's air-cooled, is the S21 Pro at 234 terahash a second. And Bitmain even announced an immersion-ready model with handles on in the front, which I think is really freaking cool, that's coming in at 300 terahash a second. If you have ever felt like you are outgunned in mining, especially lately, know that you're not alone. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's like I've been working really hard to build the farm. I'm not giving up. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining or whining, but like this is crazy. This is overwhelming. This is unprecedented. We've never seen the market move like this. Just the way it's moved with the Kaspa miners alone has been crazy, weird, hard to keep up with. I am mentally and financially exhausted just trying to keep up with one miner model of each of these new releases to review here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel, and then I just double that as basically casually or actively, as a side quest, building the VoskCoin mining farm with all of the miners I get into review. It makes managing the farm more difficult, but it makes the content here on VoskCoin much better. Thankfully, we've got some good relationships where sometimes we get miners into review in compensation for the coverage. Sometimes we get them at good pricing, wholesale pricing. Very often, I'm just buying the miners myself out of pocket and saying, well, I hope I make my money back. Thankfully, year over year, mining's been a lucrative endeavor, and I've done well with mining. I've done well with crypto. I'm thankful for that. If you stay the course, normally, at least in my experience, with this sector, it works out, especially when you stay on the projects that have some good fundamentals, some staying power. But the point is, I'm tired of this shit, Grandpa. It's not fun. It's not funny much. Oh, look at this new miner. No. It's dude, 4 miners came out today, and the 4 miners that came out last week had a 29% price reduction. Very often you can be left feeling with buyer's remorse, or you're excited to get the new model only to find out next week you got old news. It's weird. I'm going to stay the course, but honestly, for taking a more conservative approach and break mentally, I'm thinking about just kind of stopping the expansion of the farm and the miner acquisition for 1 to 2 months, because it's all the time. It's every week, something different, something new coming in, figuring out how to deploy it, nearly out of electricity, starting to do a lot of weird things to basically condense, get more juice. The profitability has slipped on a lot of miners, especially the older S19 Bitcoin miners. I'm thinking, and I ran the numbers the other day, if you saw the shutting down miners video I posted, it probably makes sense for me to just unplug these, take them out, and when I can get 3-phase electricity installed and get to a better electricity rate, it may finally, truly, literally make sense for me to run them again. But until then, I don't want to just run them at a big loss. It doesn't make sense. It loses sense, or even dollars. So see ya. I'm out. It makes sense for you to subscribe. For our CCO, our Chief Sense Officer here at the VoskCoin YouTube channel, that's Tails. We're in 10 seconds of Tails in every video. I'm sorry I'm talking so fast today. It's just a lot to cover. I'm kind of hyped up on Mountain Dew, and I'm done. I'm out of here. Welcome to the VoskCoin.
You